Recording in progress.
Going to turn off the blur now.
Hey everyone, what is up? And welcome back to another episode of the Lifestyle Lifter Show. Today I am doing my second ever in-person podcast with Mr. Dave Kennedy here right next to me in Dubai. Dave, welcome to the Lifestyle Lifter Show, my man.
Thanks very much for having me.
Good stuff. Dave, before we get into it, share something about yourself that most people do not know.
I suppose I lost 8 stone, so I lost 125 pounds from my own journey. Mainly off the back of losing my sister in 2010. So grief had an awful lot to do with it. So a lot of weight gain, emotional eating because of that, masculine energy, etc. So I suppose I'm here coaching people now how to, I suppose, overcome different misfortunes and overcome different issues in terms of emotional eating, etc.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I can't relate to anything that extreme, Dave. So I appreciate you sharing that, firstly. And I know for myself, sometimes when I go through stressful times, I use food as a coping mechanism. So it seems like that was the same for you during that stressful time.
100%. So, like, look, I'm very, very thankful for it, being quite honest, because look, if I went down the road of drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
betting, like everybody has their poison, and food was mine.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I was very thankful for it because look, it could have went down an awful bad worse route, so obviously having that grief there is it's going to affect everyone differently, and for me, it was food. So going through that numbness or that coasting for a couple of years, there was no other way out for me, and food was like my safe place.
Yeah.
So it was that short-term satisfaction that I needed. And, it worked, to be quite honest with you, but it results in 330 years, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you take me back to a time, Dave, when you might have felt stressed, and then as a result of this, you obviously turned to food just to alleviate a bit of that stress and anxiety?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it all started, like, I suppose, in secondary school, to be honest. It's actually through life, being honest, but like, food has always been like, I brought up in a very loving family, farming background, milk with the dinner, all that stuff, hardworking, and always had, like, food was like a celebration or a safe place for most people, most families, right? So the first inkling for me was getting that emotions was when I was actually in fifth year of college or third year of school, and it was when we were playing rugby. So we went to Rockville College, so we're playing rugby at a senior cup level, so it's like semi-pro level, and I was playing prop forward. So I always felt like had that level of like that place of like acceptance.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like all the forwards. It felt like we're part
You
of
need to be,
Yeah.
heavy.
Oh yeah, you need to be a bit heavier, but I always felt like I had a place. So like being heavy at the time, 15 or 16 stone, it was always like, we're fine with it, we're all together in it. And the first inkling of that was when I was actually going out on a school night out, underage obviously, but
Drinking Coke Zero.
well, like the biggest thing was seeing all the girls going for the backs, the lads with the six packs, and I was like, oh, like maybe this is not the way it should be, and that caused me of like anxiety a little bit, and going back to the safe place of food again, ate a little more, but never really understood it.
Yeah.
And that was probably the first inkling of emotional eating.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess over how many years did this accumulate before you made a decision you needed to change?
So when we lost our sister in 2010, myself and Mike, and there's probably 5 years of 3 to 5 years. Do you know what? It's so fucking. Sorry for cursing, but it's so nuts. Like when you're going through grief, like it's like you're floating. You're just coasting. Like I don't even know. When I think back now at them times, like it's like a blur really. So I don't even tell you the exact time. I don't know. But all I know is that I was coming into the second year of college, and it went to a place where I was actually starting again in college. So I done environmental science the first year, didn't like it, dropped out, but used to stay at home emotional eating because during that time my father actually went abroad as well working. So that was even tough as well because sister was gone and my father was gone working abroad. So it was that
You
we're
were
more alone
male
again.
figure almost.
100%.
Yeah.
And then coming from like we were in boarding school as well in Rockville, so we always had that like I suppose we always gotta had like people watching us or going to bed at certain times. But when you go to college for the first time, like you're up to your own devices. It's your own responsibility. So for me, like feeling that little bit more alone, going through grief. I used to be living with a buddy of mine, and he used to go away to college at the start in the morning, and I used to actually stay at home and actually eat all day
Yeah.
because I was like literally looking for that like safe place
Yeah.
because I was just lost like. And I think the biggest thing going through that like was it was just like feeling that emotion constantly, and like food was the only way out for me at the time.
Yeah. And what was your epiphany moment where
Yeah,
you just decided, right?
100%. So at that time when I was just finishing in UCC, I came back and I was working in the farm in the summertime, and I went back doing ag science the next year. But I was at my heaviest. To be quite honest, like we were rare in the pub, right? So I could talk to the wall, right? And it was rare into us, right? So I'd never had any issue talking to lads, talking to girls. Like even at that time when I was very heavy, I'd more friends that were girls than the lads that were in shape even.
Sure.
Because I could but like just from a friend perspective, I could never cross the line because I just didn't have the confidence to being honest about it. But this was the first epiphany really was like when I started seeing a massive change in me was going out on the nights out in college and going to the house parties, then going to the pub, great crack, chat, everything perfect. But when we started going to the nightclubs, that's when everything changed. Because as you know, in college in Ireland and most countries, is you go to the club at the end of the night, you go pulling like, and that's where all my buddies would go pulling girls. 100%. And 100%. And I used to be there like fucking feeling like a spare prick, to be quite honest. And just a ball of anxiety in my chest. And I used to literally just nearly implode. And I used to like, my buddies used to call me Dodgy Dave or Disappearing Dave at the time because I used to disappear. And at the time, they didn't know why. Obviously, I wasn't going to tell them why. I just used to tell them, oh, I got too drunk or met one of the lads and back to a house party. I'd be lying to them, like, and that was actually eating me up more because I was actually lying to myself. And even that kind of happened for about 6 months. And I went to a stage there and it was gone to a stage where I started to become insocial. So I started going out less
Yeah.
because it was kept happening, coming home by myself, feeling terrible, and it was eating me up. Even the taxi driver asked, geez, why are you going home here? Oh, I was working tomorrow. I
Yeah.
was lying to him as well on
Yeah.
the way home. Like, God almighty, like, it's like, it was
And
just,
would you have turned to food? Sorry to cut across you, Dave. Even
yeah,
after
oh,
the
yeah,
club, the
yeah,
pizza, the
a hundred
chips, the
percent,
Supermax.
a hundred
Yeah.
percent, 100%.
Yeah.
And the big thing was, the biggest, I suppose, epiphany was and some of the lads will be listening to this now, but every Halloween we used to do a fancy dress, as you know. And I used to always like just wear a monk costume or something like big long thing or something. And I used to love them nights because no one used to give a rattle or there was no chance of pulling or looking good. It was just a messy night. It was a very enjoyable night. And even that night I came home early and that was like, and I came home that night and I was just so low. And I just said to myself, I sat at the end of the bed, in the end of the bed in my apartment. And I was just like, if my sister was here and I told, because we were really close, there's only a year and a half between us, we were like that. And, I used to ask when I even 15, 16, I used to ask her about girls, ask her opinion, just getting her girl's opinion, etc. So we're really close. And I just said to myself, if I said she was here and I sat down and told her exactly what I was feeling and exactly what I was doing, she'd be extremely upset with me.
Yeah.
And after that night, the next day, I said, everything I do is going to make that lady proud. And we haven't stopped since.
That's your purpose sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, that's really powerful, Dave. That's really powerful. My call to action was similar enough to you. Now, I wouldn't have been on the heavier side, I guess. I was on the skinny side.
Yeah, the other
And
end
I
of it.
went from skinny to skinny fat in first year in college, just from eating drunken or
Yeah,
eating
yeah,
junk and
of
drinking a lot
course,
of
yeah.
alcohol. But
The lifestyle.
my epiphany moment was similar enough to yourself. I didn't feel confident approaching girls because
Yeah,
obviously in the club is a big thing. Going to Mary I was a 5-to-1 girl to guy ratio.
yeah, yeah.
But there's two Adrians in my class of 30 people. What are the odds of being two Adrian, like five lads, two of them called Adrian? So to differentiate between both of us, one of the guys in the class said, right, you're Adrian, we'll just call you small Adrian.
I see.
And that just shook my confidence.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
know what? At the same time, harmful, like people get past these negative comments sometimes, and that can drive it down the wrong way, or it can actually drive you towards action.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So what was your, I'm just curious now, Dave, when you felt that way coming on that Halloween night, what did you do just to get from 0 to 1? Because I feel that's the part, just getting started
Yeah,
is where so many people actually struggle with.
100%. So I actually had a friend of mine going to like a semi-private kind of it was like a gym in the back of a house kind of a setup. And he was going and he said, just come. And I said, I'll go. And we went to once and I stayed there for 16 weeks and lost 4 stone. And that was the first start.
Yeah.
That was the first
First,
start. But yeah, yeah,
that's 24 kilos,
yeah,
16
yeah,
weeks. Wow.
yeah. Oh, like there was no stopping me. Like,
Yeah,
do you know
that's
what?
a stone a month.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
I
lot.
overall the whole period, like this will just tell you where the mindset was at. Like in 15 months, I lost 8.5 stone. Like.
8.5 stone. So to
And
put that, that'll be what? That's over 50 kilograms.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know what this stage.
Yeah,
Honestly, God,
yeah,
it was. Well, like the difference was is, and what I say to a lot of my clients as well is like, I have a purpose there and a why, but everyone has a why. That's the difference. You just have to. Everyone goes through misfortune. Has low confidence. You have to really think of that, and the stuff you don't want to think about. That's the stuff that's going to fuel you because that's going to make you get out of bed, do what you need to do, walk in the rain, whatever it is, that's going to drive you because that's the stuff you need to be thinking about to get you to move forward.
yeah,
Simple. And that's the most important. And it's our like for me, it's our job to find that why and find a true purpose in something. Because if you get your true purpose, it's not about you anymore. There's so many people out there that, for example, focus on the weighing scales because they make it about them. It's all about them. They jump the scales, they implode because they don't get the result. Then they binge eat. They don't have any real purpose. They have to take a step back and see why they're doing it in the first place. For example, if it's a young man, she's doing it for her kids, to lead by example for her kids, so she can be the superman or the superwoman for her kids. It's not about her. So when she jumps on the skates and she doesn't get the result she wants, it's okay because she's done everything right this week and she's going to keep moving forward. That's what we need to do. That's what I do to get the lifestyle change for people because you have to find true purpose for them. And that's the way it works because a diet plan and a train plan won't change your life. That's the reality of it. And it's you won't change your life on a surface level either. You have to have true purpose because it's true purpose that got me to where I am right now. I'm only getting started. And that's the reality. And all my clients there come with me are in the same page because we find their true purpose so they can actually get that lifestyle change. And then you're making a difference. And that's the way we work it because so many people come to me, 3 and 4 different coaches they've used, and they think there's something wrong with them because they follow the diet plan, they do the diet plan, they get a result, and then they haven't learned anything throughout the process, only how to read off a diet plan. And they're like, what do I do? You know, when it's over, the coach says, "Good looking, thanks," and they're left there, and they're like, "Do I stay in the diet plan for the rest of my life?" Which is unrealistic, or do I go back to what I know? And 9 times out of 10, the habits weren't as great in the first place.
yeah.
They start slipping. It's a vicious cycle. Like, and that's why you have to do it from the very find out the real purpose at the very start, understand why it's happening, and get use that fuel to the fire to get them to where they want to be, creating that new vision for them to move forward. Because through my own experience, I was the person that done the diet plan. I was the person that done the gym pro because I had my why. There was no one stopping me. Like I lost 8.5 stone, like I said, in 15 months. There was no one talking. There was no talking to me. Like people were like, "Oh, Dave, you should relax. You should go out." No, like that was my
You were
purpose.
driven.
Oh, like literally driven. And the most important thing was really going through the food, done the training, got in great shape, but couldn't understand why I didn't feel fulfilled. Because when I got that 6 pack, and it wasn't in 15 months, I had to work in the gym another 15 months. In 3 years, I done my first photo shoot. I was 79 kilos. And I was looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, you need to fix this. You need to be better here. You need to be right here, hypercritical,
Picked out all your flaws.
right? And I was like, because like my why wasn't there. I've done what I done to make my sister proud was to lose the weight, get in the best shape ever. I ticked the box like, and like I was like, I've done it, but like, why do I feel like this? Like, why do not feel fulfilled? Of course, like, don't get me wrong, the surface level, smaller t-shirts, better pack, like going from a triple XL down to a medium, huge. But that wears away after a while. The reality of it is you have to like work on your mind as well as work on the body. And that's what I learned throughout my process because I done it the wrong way. And we done, 3 or 4 years different of mindset work after that. That's when the real journey started, when I done my first photo shoot, because I understood that why am I so hypercritical on myself? Like I just went from one extreme to the other, like literally. Like when I was 22 stone, looking at photos, lads, a six pack, it was like another life, Dave. It wasn't happening this life. I couldn't even resonate with it. That's why if you see my content, it's not me flashing my abs everywhere, because the people, I think of myself, because I'm just talking to the old me. And when I used to be looking at lads with abs, when I was at that weight, I was like, never going to happen. Like, never going to happen. That's why I don't flaunt any of my like body folds or any of that stuff. They're not the people that I want to be like attracted.
Coaching.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So for me, was really finding that mindset and like find that true purpose. And that all come with self-love. I didn't have any self-love. Why? Because I was looking at myself through the lens of 330 pounds still.
Yeah.
So it affected so many like relationships, how I used to think. I was in relationships where I didn't feel good enough for the girl. And, she was like, what the hell are you on about? But I was like, and that would cause any row, I'd walk. She's like, sure, I don't deserve her anyway. That was the mindset. And that's how it affects people so much, because I couldn't get that throughout that. I couldn't get that appreciation for myself. I couldn't appreciate myself. I couldn't back myself. And this is when I was in, like, after doing a photo shoot, like, that's how I looked like. I looked like really, really good. Like, and that's for me, that's when the real transformation started. And that's why we bring it in our program. We have to work the mind with the body. We've been in-house psychotherapists. I'm like a psychotherapist from doing all this stuff for the last couple of years as well. Well, this is what you need to get the lifestyle change. And that's the most important thing for me, because that's what actually fulfills me. People that come onto my program that I can see myself in, and I'm on the journey. It's a privilege for me to be on a journey with someone, because I can see myself in every area through their ups and downs of emotions. And
You've walked the walk.
and it's even like, another example would be like going from one extreme to from a female for a female perspective, like in college, not even being noticed at 22 stone, not even being looked at. And I was like cool with that, because I was always very positive and chatty, where like I was like I had like for me, big thing for grief as well that saved my life in a big way was cars. I love cars. And I was buying and selling cars, doing up cars. I was the bowl fucker doing the fucking things. I was your mother and father be giving out about. Your mother and father be giving out about in the crossroads, right? So that was me, right? But that saved me as well, because I put all that energy into food and into cars. And that saved me. So I had a wicked passion. So I was like, I have my cars. I don't need a girlfriend. I don't need anything. That was when I was at 22 stone. And that was my mindset, just the level of acceptance. And like, it's crazy at the time when you think back, like, it's a level of delusion, like, because you're just accepting yourself, because you're literally believing this is the way you should be.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I was like, look, it's in the family, we're kind of heavy. Like, my dad's heavy, my mother's a bit
You
heavy.
accept it.
I'm big boned, like,
Yeah.
it's like, this is the thing. Like, these are what we tell ourselves just to get that acceptance. And you're like, oh, it's okay then. It's not okay. And I'm telling you that, and I don't want to insult anybody, but it's the truth. Like, this is why I'm saying this, is because people are going to listen to this, and I want them to know that that's not real. Like, you're telling yourself a story, because I was there. I know exactly what it feels like. So just coming back to what you said there, is finding that purpose and really working from that and bringing that mindset. It's all changing the mindset and the personal development. Like, we call ourselves online. Well, I call myself an online coach, but it's very like a personal development coach at this stage, because you're going through a journey. It's going through the emotions, like I was just saying there, one extreme to the other, of like not being noticed by girls, for example, to actually getting attention from girls and getting noticed, for example. And that's like overwhelming. You're like, holy shit, especially if you don't do
You're
it.
entering new territory.
You're like, I've never experienced this before. Like, I'm not Tom Cruise. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so the thing is, like, it's overwhelming. It doesn't matter. And this is what people will go through, that they don't even know. They don't even know they're going to go through it. And that's why I talk to them about it, because that's what you're going to experience. Is how you're going to react to that is going to be, you have to know, you have to have the mindset and the self-love and the backing for yourself to endure that, because it's life changing. You're going through a life changing journey. If it doesn't matter if you're losing 2 stone, doesn't matter if you're losing 5 stone, 10 stone, or if you're trying to put on weight, like for your from your
From
own,
my own
one
personal
hundred
point of view.
percent,
Yeah.
100%. Because we got clients that are that can't put on size.
Yeah.
I want They come to me because they see, look, I've lost the weight, then I had no muscle on me, then I built myself up. So they come to me from that perspective.
Yeah.
And their confidence is the same. Like, one thing I always, the one thing that never like fails to surprise me is like, it doesn't matter if you have to put on 2 stone or you have to lose 10 stone. Confidence affects everybody in different ways. It's crazy. It doesn't matter. Like, I guess the only guy said, geez, I feel terrible because I can't fill out a t-shirt. And, they have anxiety about it, or walking into a room. And it's the same thing if you're 10 stone heavier. It affects everyone
It's the
differently.
same feeling, man. Just
100%.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
100%.
And man, I even like I sometimes get that even now.
Of
Like
course, yeah.
in the gym that we're
Yeah,
in at the
yeah.
moment, Benute.
Yeah, yeah.
Like fuck, man. Today I was just getting ready for my session. This guy walked in, 5,200 calories a day. He's eating a
Jeez.
beast, 22 years old, and he's like 20 kilos, 25 kilos heavier. I'm like, God, I look fucking tiny compared to him, and there is that element of it that you can feel insecure whether you're skinny, whether you're
Yeah.
overweight. And I guess it's just how you deal with it from a mental perspective and how you reframe it. What I'm curious from your point of view, Dave. So you obviously went from being 325 pounds to 79 kilos, which is roughly what, 160, just over one, maybe
That,
160, not even.
that was my latest, yeah.
Yeah, 160 pounds for that photo shoot. And yet you felt like you didn't feel fulfilled when you reached that physique that at 325 Dave 1.0 would have only
Mm.
dreamt of.
Hmm.
How did you work and what were your next steps to work on that personal, that self-development, the
Yeah.
mindset to actually start having some more self-acceptance of
100%.
yourself and being proud of the guy who has those changes?
100%. So, like, the big thing when you don't have any self-love going through a journey, like, you're going to have no balance. So one thing I always noticed, like, even though I was in the best shape ever and I was so committed, I was either on or off. So I was either on diet, or else it was like two steps forward, or else I was in reverse. I was either on or off, and it was like this anxiety, like this just up and down, like, it was volatile, like.
Yeah.
So I was like, why is it like this? Like, there should be a balance there. And because I've went through, like, learning how to eat correctly, coming to know that carbs are my best friend again, like, because you have so many stories told you don't eat carbs and all this fucking crap. Like, I had to get through all them beliefs as well. Break through all them beliefs that it's like put into you from social media and everything when you're trying to lose weight. Like, it's you, and that's a challenge too. But the biggest thing for me was actually starting to appreciate myself. And the only way you're going to be able to appreciate yourself is to love yourself. And that's become your own best friend. Right. So the big thing that we do for all our clients is we show you how to become your best friend. And you're literally talking to your logical mind. So if you, like you just said there, you're in the gym, you felt like that, there's a bigger guy inside there. If you talk to your logical mind, say, you have this fear, you're putting this fear into your mind, this negativity into your mind. It's like, ask your best friend who's Adrian again and say, is that true? It's like, no, you're a successful guy. You're after, getting into the best shape ever. You're a successful coach. It's the logical talk to yourself. You're like, oh, yeah, you're backing yourself again and start building the
Mm.
appreciation. And that doesn't happen overnight. That does not happen overnight, but it's constantly working on it. It's like anything. It's like in the gym. You're constantly working on yourself. You have to constantly work on your mind. And that's what's going to actually change your life. Building up that self-love. And that's what gave me the balance. It's like, oh, it's okay. I can go have a coffee, or I can go have a meal out. I have that balance now because I appreciate myself. And and that'll affect every area of life. That'll affect friendships, how you turn up and work. If you're self-employed, it'll affect absolutely everything. Because it's like anything. When I see most relationships or people that come to me as well, it's like they're low plane of energy. So the self-love is low, and they have might another half or something that's they like hang on to. So they literally smother that person
Mm.
because they need that
Putting
attention,
down.
and that then suffocates the other person.
Yeah.
And it can literally ruin a relationship. And the reality of it is that you can't be like this. You have to be like this. You have to be on the same level. So what we need to work on is bring you back up here and that's when the relationship will be really strong. And that's with friendships, everything, family, everything. It has to be like that. And that's what we need to get our clients, what we get our clients to get to, and that's through the whole art of the journey. And that might take 6 months to a year. Like, our average client stays up for about 2 years anyway. So, like, it's a
It's
journey.
a process.
It's not a destination, it's a journey always. And we're all still in a journey. Me, you are on a journey still of self development, like, and that's the most important. You always have to keep working on yourself. to be the better you every day. And one thing I always say to my clients or someone that's even I'm talking to in the DMs or whatever is that just write down your future self, like who you really want to be. And it doesn't matter how unrealistic it is. All you write it down. And all you need to do every day is to work towards that every day. That's all you need to do.
Build that
And
identity.
that'll help build that identity, like you said, and you're working towards your goals. Again, the anxiety, all the stresses, making it about yourself, that'll all start to fade because you're just working towards yourself. And that's the most important. That's the way you need to look at it. Because people look at fitness and they look at health that it's a short term thing. If I stay on a diet for 12 weeks, I'll get in the best shape and I will stay in the best shape. Not if you don't do the work in it. Not if you don't change everything up here. Because I'd be telling you if like when I was 22 stone or 330 pounds, if I told you my life is the exact same as it is now, I'd be telling you a lie because it's totally different. We call it the lifestyle blueprint because I had to change my life to be better, to be healthier. Because if I said the same, I'd probably be dead now. That's the truth of it. Like I had them healthy, unhealthy habits where the mindset was I mightn't even been here. And that's just the truth of it. Like, that's just being honest. This is why I had to change everything. And this is why I try to tell people it's like, I'll be very realistic. You have to change your habits and it's not going to be the same again. But people are happy to change because they're in a low plane of energy. They're not in the best place anyway. So it's about building that up more than ever. And that's the part of the process.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, man, a lot to unpack there. A lot. Just because we're so focused and centered on the mindset side, which is really the be all and end all, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Like upwards of 90% of people that lose weight quickly, they put it back on in the air.
100%. 100%.
And it's not a case that they don't know that, okay, the donut probably isn't going to be as healthy as the apple.
Yeah.
Or it's not a case they don't know that, you know what, going to the gym, exercise more probably will help me.
Yeah.
It's all what goes on
It's all more.
between in the mind there.
It's all more.
For you then, what would you say are just some, obviously we spoke about self-love.
Mm.
Do you do something yourself? Do you like a daily self-affirmation practice? Do you do visualization? Is it personal development books? What do you do yourself to work
So,
and get Dave into a good place mentally?
so for me, is the most important thing for me is I have a routine in the morning.
Yeah.
So I like to do a 15-minute meditation or I call it sit in the power. So and I do my gratitude in the morning and I do my visualization in the morning
Yeah.
as well. And I do my steps and I do burpees. Right. And the reason why I do burpees is because I show my gratitude to the world. Because if you go through something tough, it's like the ice baths. If you go through something's tough in the morning, you're very grateful. And I'm at a higher plane of energy. So if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be at my best self. And when you come away, it's like anything. It's like when you train in the morning, you get the endorphin rush as well. It's the similar thing that you feel great. Like I have myself sorted out, everything else, the rest of the day will go a bit better. But if you're getting out of bed, fucking running with a coffee, you're just all over the place.
Reactive versus proactive.
100%. And that's my kind of morning routine.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I do something similar. I got up this morning, pitch black, push-ups, do some what you call it, band pull aparts, just get some blood flow, just
100%.
get some movement. As you said, it changes your state.
100%. And grounding is like I like to walk down by the beach and just get my feet onto the sand so I can actually ground myself as well.
Wow.
And like that just eases everything for me.
Yeah,
So I'm at I suppose, plane or a real good state and before even starting getting into meditation.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. How long does your morning routine take you, Dave?
Oh, you probably see there. Yeah, it's probably 10 before I'm up and I'm working around half eight or so. That's with training. That's with like that all done, gym, everything done.
Yeah,
Cardio. That's everything done.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I've myself looked after at night before everyone, before even clients are reaching out for
100%.
yeah.
You have to wear your own best first.
100%. If you want to be your best, you have to look after yourself first.
100%, man.
100%, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, and that's just then from maybe some more practical point of view, Dave.
Mm,
Obviously from your own coaching experience and you're a big believer in mindset self-development,
mm.
have you any books that you've read that you feel had a real deep connection with you?
Um, Good question.
Or even for anyone who wants to get into more self-development? Like for me, you can see it up there, Tony Robbins,
Well,
Waking the Giant Within.
Yeah, Tony
That
Robbins,
was
like
my
this,
first
yeah,
one.
100%. I think Think Go Rich is a big one as well for me.
Yeah,
And I like to say I listen to an awful lot of audiobooks as well. And it's something that I really want to work on is reading. Because it's like I tell myself I don't have time, but that's only a belief, as we know.
Yeah,
So it's really that's the goal, for the next couple of weeks is I've after buying books, I'm after buying 5 books now, but I'm going to try and read and give myself time because I always just tell because I'm dyslexic as well, and I just always tell myself a story that you can't or just listen,
sure. Yeah,
telling yourself stories, and that's what we all do, and it's very easy to tell ourselves a story,
yeah,
but really when you want to look in the, I always say when you want to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself, that's when you are going to be the most honest with yourself and you can tell yourself the truth. And people don't want to do that.
yeah.
Look in the mirror and look at the real truth. And coming from a coach and coming from a place of care, that's what we have to do. And that's what makes the change in most people is telling them sometimes what they don't want to hear, but it's true. It's coming from a place of care, and they respect you of it, respect you because of that.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Final couple of questions, Dave, before we wrap it up. Obviously, again, you're big in the mindset I love. You're big in the self-development. Just maybe from more of a practical point of view, though,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously going back to your journey, you mentioned you joined a small local
Yeah,
gym, and that just getting your foot in the door there, you saw maybe a quick win, you felt good after a workout, and all of a sudden you build a bit of momentum. You want to do it again, you want to go again.
100%.
What would you say are some practical next steps for someone who they just need that bit of a push? They know that once they get to the start line, not even the finish line, they just need to get to that start line. What would be some next steps there?
Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah,
Like just start moving, eat a little bit better. Just do that for the start. Don't track anything. Just start moving more. That's all you need to do. If you're getting 1,000 steps in today, go for 2,000 the next day. See how that goes. Go for 3,000 next week. Build yourself up. Keep away from keep away from the sweets, etc. Eat good wholesome foods. I guarantee you'll feel an awful lot better very, very quickly. And that's a start. You have to take in baby steps because what happens to most people is there's so much thrown at them. They overcomplicate and they're like, they get overwhelmed.
paralysis by
They
analysis.
get
Yeah,
overwhelmed. And the reality is you have to keep it very simple. For me, I was very lucky that I had a kind of a semi-private place to start. And I just literally I done what I was told after that. But like it's when you're trying to do it by yourself, you just have to simplify it a little bit
yeah,
more, move more, and just start that, see how you get on, do it for 4 or 5 weeks, see how you feel, and then see how you feel going forward.
absolutely, absolutely. I I just had a conversation even with a guy in a DM, and he mentioned that every day after work, Dave, you
Mm,
bring the gym gear with him,
yeah.
sit out in the car for 20, 30 minutes,
Hmm.
drive home.
Yeah.
And
Purpose, man.
what does that do then? It adds legs to the table that I'm not someone. You talk about building your identity. You can build it the right way or you can also build it the wrong way.
100%.
And he probably had a story that, you know what, I'm not someone who goes to the gym. The gym isn't for me. It's not part of my identity.
Hmm.
I just left him a short voice note and said, instead of procrastinating, just take a 5 minute action. Kind of like what you were saying there. That make an agreement that, you know what, I'm just going to go for 5 minutes. I'm going to do the warm up. If after 5 minutes I'm not feeling it, give yourself permission to
Yeah.
drive home.
100%.
But most people's biggest challenge, it's just getting to that first 5 minutes. It's going for that walk, as you said. It's
100%.
chopping up the vegetables. It's having a meal ready. It's hiding the sweets, whatever it might be.
100%. Do you know what? The trick is to not think. That's actually it. Don't think. Because overthinking is what it's taught.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I can resonate. I lost most of the weight, 8.5 stone. I went to the semi-private place. After I'd done it myself, I didn't use the gym after losing 8.5 stone. I didn't have the confidence and I done it the wrong way. And I understand what people feel like with confidence. And like being quite honest, there's 35% of our clients that don't use the gym because they might have to lose 8 stone or 5 stone and just going to a gym is just not their time. So you have to build it up. You have to get the wins first, get them going, get the momentum going, and then when the confidence starts building, it's up to them then afterwards. But that's the way we work. Because at the end of the day, for me, I always say to get a lifestyle change, it has to work for the person, not me. It's not the coach's way. The big problem with the fitness industry, it's like the coach's way or the highway. It doesn't work. I can tell you train fucking 7 days a week, right? Eat 10 meals a day, and you're like, yeah, no bother, Dave. In the back of your mind, you're like, holy God, when is this over? Never works straight away. Straight away, it's over.
Right.
Straight, it's over. Short term mindset, it's gone. So you want to have your client really saying, geez, this is doable. Like, geez, I can actually do this. You want to add to your life, add to their life, not take away from their life. That's the sweet spot. So we really work on that to suit the individual because it has to work for them. If they want to get the lifestyle change, it has to work on their terms. You know, of course, they have to make some changes,
Yes.
but it's our job to make it as easy as possible around their day to day, their job, their night shift, whatever it is, it has to work
So
for them.
they can implement it. Awesome. Awesome. Dave, final question before we wrap it up. Man, this has been amazing. Honestly, really feel that energy. I absolutely love it. I love all things mindset,
100%.
self-development, personal development.
Me too, 100%.
Because this is the Lifestyle Lifters show, final question I ask all my guests is, what is your definition of living a successful lifestyle?
Having a balance, living your true potential, and that's the most important, is getting up every day, having pure purpose, and I feel, my whole experience is quite funny. Like I have an agricultural background. I done ag science. I was lecturing agribusiness actually out here, believe it or not, in a university here. And my whole life has changed. And now I'm actually working on pure purpose and I feel so fulfilled every day. And even talking to now, I've shivers nearly because this is where I'm in my flow because this is what people need to hear. Because if I can help one or two people that listen to this podcast, or we can help one or two people that can listen to this podcast, just do a little bit better, our job's done. And that's what fulfills me every day is working through that pure passion. That's what people need to follow. If you're doing something that you're unhappy doing, follow your true purpose. And it doesn't matter what the money is, just work towards it and you'll be successful in it.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Dave, amazing episode. So, so great to do it in person as well. For any of our listeners out there now who want to learn a bit more about you, about what you offer, where's the best place to send them, Dave?
I suppose Instagram, Dave_Kennedy_TLB, and Mike's my brother. He's Michael_Kennedy_TLB as well.
Gotcha.
So our two of us are in the business, yeah.
I'll post a link to your social on
Absolutely.
in the show notes. Dave, absolute
Thanks
pleasure.
very much, man.
Great
Pleasure.
episode. Thanks so much for coming on. This has been
100%.
amazing, bro.